Alright, I attempted to start the Unit 9 quiz, but then it got messed up. So I've already done question 1, but let's go over it. Okay, on number 1, you needed to create a proportion. So when you create a proportion, it's two ratios put together. The question told me that 2,000 feet was what they could travel in 30 minutes. And it didn't say 30 minutes, it said half hour. But what I did is I knew that there were 30 minutes in 1 half hour. So 2,000 over 30 equals 10,000 over x. Because we want to know how long it will take to go 10,000 feet. So after I set up my proportion, then I cross multiply. 30 times 10,000 is 300,000, and x times 2,000 is 2,000x. Then I'll divide by 2,000, and what I do to one side, I do to the other. So 300,000 times 2,000 is going to get your answer, which is 240 minutes. But the question had the answer in hours. So in order to get the answer back into hours, then I would take 240 minutes and figure out how many minutes are in an hour? 60. So I'll divide 240 by 60 minutes. And when I do that, I get 4 hours. So it takes 4 hours to go 10,000 feet. All right, the next question about the house mortgage. I knew that I needed to figure out the cost per 1 square foot because the question is saying that it's at the same rate per square foot. So whenever I saw that per square foot, I needed to figure out what per square foot is going to be. So my first ratio is comparing the small house, 1,200 feet, to the cost, which is 1,800. So my next ratio is 1 square feet over x. And x is going to represent the money. Okay. Now I cross multiply. 1,800 times 1 is 1,800. Oops, I added one more 0. And x times 1,200 is 1,200x. I then get x by itself by dividing by 1,200 on each side. And 18 divided by 1,200 equals $1.50. So that means that it costs $1.50 per square foot. And it's the same rate for the larger house. So if it's the same rate for the larger house, now again I can take the amount per square foot and divide it by the total square feet, or by the total cost. And that will get me the total square foot. So if I'm going to pull over here, 2,100 divided by $1.50. And if I do that, I'll get 1,400. So the bigger house is 1,400 square feet. The next one is a proportion again. If I buy 8 tickets at $480, then this is my first ratio. 8 tickets, $480. I want to figure out the cost of 3 tickets. So if I want to figure out the cost of 3 tickets, I will put 3 tickets on the same level because you need to have tickets and tickets on the same row. And then money and money. But we don't know the cost of the money, so we'll put x. And then we set it. After we've set up our proportion, now we can cross multiply and divide to solve it. 8 times x is 8x. 3 times 480 is $480. I want to get x by itself, so I divide by 8 on each side. And pull to the side. 480 divided by 8. 8 will go into 48. 48 times 8 times 6 is 48. Oh, you know what? I messed up. Oops, let's pull back. I didn't do 3 times 480. So I should have done 3 times 480. If I did that, it would have gotten, let's start over right here, 1,440 equals 8x. Sorry. So 3 times 480 and 8 times x. So 1440 equals 8x. Now I'm going to get x by itself, so I divide by 8 on each side. These cancel out, and x equals whatever 1,440 divided by 8 is. So now I'm going to pull to the side, and 1,140 divided by 8. 8 will go into 14 one time with 6 left over. Bring down the 4. 8 will go into, oops, we can't see. 8 will go into 64 8 times. And you'll get 0 left over. You still need to keep this place value even though it's 0. So I'm going to bring the 0 straight up. So my answer is $180 equals X. So 3 tickets is going to cost them $180. The next problem about Chris. They want you to figure out an equation for this problem. But before you figure out an equation, you need to set up a proportion to figure out what they're doing. So he bought 6 packs of gum for $4.50. Okay, 6 packs of gum for $4.50. They want to know the cost of 11 packs. So 11 is going to go on the top because my proportion needs to have the same label on the same sides. Okay, on the same rows. Excuse me. Okay, so now I'm going to look over at my problem, my equations and see if any of these don't make sense. Okay, well, I'm not going to just divide by 6 because that's not what I'm going to do. That's just a ratio. So I can go ahead and cancel this one. Nowhere in here am I going to add. So I'm going to cancel out C. So now it's just down to B and A. 450 times 11. So let's cross multiply and divide. If 450 times 11, okay, so I do 450, 50 times 11, and then 6 times x, so equals 6x. Oops, let me show you that. So 450 times 11 is what I'm going to do, and 6x is 6x. Then I'm going to divide by 6 to get x by itself. So I'm going to divide by 6 on this side as well. Okay. So if I go back to my problem, A is just multiplying 450 times 11. It's not doing anything with the 6. But B is dividing 450 divided by 6 and then multiplying by 11, which is the same thing as taking 450 and multiplying by 11 and then dividing by 6. Even if you divide by 6 first or you divide by 6 last, you're still going to get the same answer. So therefore, B is the correct answer. The last question on the back. Okay, it wants you to compare the price of the premium candy canes, and you can get them at Sprouts, Whole Foods, World Market, or Central Market. What you need to do is you need to take each one of these numbers and divide. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I noticed on a lot of people's papers that you were getting the wrong answers. So I'm going to divide each one of these out to show you how you do them. So I'm always going to put the money inside the house and the amount outside the house. Okay, so 9 will not go into 3, but 9 will go into 36 4 times. 4 times 9 is 36. I subtract and get 0, and I bring that 0 up, and then I also must bring my decimal up. So 40 cents at Sprouts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 40 cents so that I know. Now I'm going to go back here and do Whole Foods. $10 for 25. So I'm going to put $10 in the house, 25 out of the house. I'm going to have to put a decimal and as many zeros as I want because 25 is outside the house and it's bigger than 10. So 25 can't go into 10, but 25 can go into 100. It can go to 100 4 times. Think about quarters. 4 quarters make $1. 25 cents is 1 quarter. So 4 times 25 is 100, which is going to get me 0, but I still must bring that 0 up to hold the place value. And then also bring the decimal. So 40 cents. Again, 40 cents. Okay, my question is saying which store does not have the same unit price. So we can see that all the stores are going to have 40 cents except for one store because 2 stores have already had the answer of 40 cents for the unit price. So now I'm going to pull over here for World Market. 315 divided by 8. 8 will not go into 3, but 8 will go into 31. 8 goes into 31 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. And I subtract. I get 7 and bring down the 5. 8 will go into 75. Let's see. 8 times 9 is 63. 8 times 9 is 63. So, and 8 times 10 is 80. So, it's going to be 9. 9 times 8, 63. Oh, 8. 8 times 9 is not 63. 8 times 9 is 72. Oops, good thing I got that. 5 minus 2 is 3, and 7 minus 0 is 0. So it's going to keep going on, but money is only to the hundredths place. So if I go to the hundredths place, I'm okay, unless I need a round. So I'm going to just bring up my decimal and put 39 cents. Ooh, so that one's different. That might be the answer. Let's just do Central Market just to make sure. So $1.60 divided by 4. 4 will go into 16 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. 0 left over. I bring up the 0. I bring up the decimal. And it is also 40 cents. So my answer is World Market is different. World Market is 39 cents and all the other ones are 40 cents. So my answer is C. Alright, now is the time to answer any questions that you may have for me.